same area, someone had reported a small toddler about 2 years old just wandering the road close to where this had sat down, and again they were dispatched, but again they didn't find a toddler either. So people are just really suspicious that perhaps there was an abduction that occurred in that field that night. It made national news.
Oh, wow. What is the most haunted spot in the Gateway area?
Oh boy, what would we... Yeah. There's a cemetery over in Bath County, which is a neighboring county to where we live. Ron had mentioned the big, bad, ugly spirit that we've encountered on our investigations, and that's where he is. He talked about the cemetery being down a road that a lot of illicit activity also happens, and it's just over investigated by amateur ghost hunters. That and some of the folks that go out there and amateur ghost hunters, they don't always follow our 10 commandments of ghost hunting. They do. they harm stuff and knock over gravestones and stuff, unfortunately.
They call themselves provoking spirits, and they'll tear up the graves and things like that.
Yeah, that makes it bad for all of us when they do stuff like that. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to start on Ron next. Like I said earlier in my show, Ron has been studying cryptids for nearly close to 40 years, and he's the co-founder of Gateway. So we're going to talk a little bit about cryptids now, and you got to bear with me, Ron. Like I said, this is new to me, so if I'm out there a little bit of my questions, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So you got to tell us what led you to investigate cryptids, and have you ever encountered a cryptid?
Okay, it would be hard to say what one thing really led me to investigate cryptids. I'm actually going past 40 years now in investigations. I like to tell people that I did it before it was cool. Probably first thing that I really remember about it was in elementary school reading a little book titled Abominable Snowman and Loch Ness Monster, and that's what piqued my interest. And along about that same time was when the Patterson film was famous, so I just became interested in it then. And then when I got up about 17, 18 years old, was able to, do it on my own. I just got to doing it, and like I said, I'm going a little past 40 years now in it. But I have encountered one Bigfoot during this time.
Wow.
One Bigfoot for sure, maybe a second Bigfoot. I can't even swear to the second one. But that was about 2.5 years ago. I came within about 70 feet of one.
Ooh. That might be still a little close to me for me. I don't know about that.
I have no fear whatsoever. Was not in the least bit aggressive toward me.
Really?
Not a bit.
And
I have no fear whatsoever of Bigfoot.
I don't know. He's awful large. I don't know. I can't get past the largeness.
He's a big guy, but he's gentle. I mean, you got to respect him. I'm not going to kick him in the kneecap or anything.
Oh no! I don't know that I want to get close enough
him,
to.
I have not seen any aggressive action out of one, and I have no reason to suspect there's any aggression to them. I'm sure they'll defend themselves if they're pushed.
Oh yeah.
But as far as the Hollywood version of the big bad killer out there, that's totally false. And like I said, I've been actually been about 30 or 40 feet of him, but I didn't get a really clear view of him. But when I got the clear view, he's about 70 feet, and I saw no aggressive behavior whatsoever.
Wow. So do you think they're like, you know how animals, dogs can scent if somebody's scared of them or a little intimidated by them? Do you think Bigfoot is the same way? If he would come across somebody that's like myself, scared or intimidated by him, would he show aggression?
It is true that a lot of animals have that instinct. And it is true that women are harassed more so by Bigfoot. Now, I don't know if it's the fear thing or that it's just a female thing in general. But I don't think that it would... I just don't think it's aggressive. Now, it might, if you could get a rise out of somebody, it might act more aggressively. Most things will. I hadn't really thought about that, but it probably can sense some fear, like any other animal can.
Right. Have you ever heard of, in North Vernon, Indiana, the Crosley Monster?
The Crosley monster?
Yeah, in North Vernon, Indiana.
No, not by that name anyway.
Well, we had talked before we aired, and Chris had sent Ron the picture of the casting that we got when we went Bigfoot or Crosley monster hunting in North Vernon, and that's what the casting that he sent you. It's supposed to be the Crosley monster.
Oh,
but
okay.
To me, it looks like the Bigfoot. It looks similar to the
Actually,
Bigfoot.
the toes on that were a tad different than the Bigfoot. I think what you come across is what's referred to generally as the American werewolf.
Oh, really?
It's a different creature.
Yeah,
I noticed your toes were a tad more pointed on that.
Yes.
Like there's maybe some longer toenails, and I really think that's what you came across, not a Bigfoot.
An American werewolf.
It's got different names all across. I mean, every locale has a different name. That's the general name. Now here in Kentucky, they're known as gorillas. In Michigan, are known as dogmen. The Native Americans in the desert refer to them as skinwalkers, but they're a wolf-type creature, a bipedal wolf-type creature. And I really hate to use the word werewolf because it gives a totally wrong impression. I mean, I don't believe in werewolves per se, but we use that term because probably the best physical description you can give of it is that it looks like a werewolf. And I think that's what you've got there.
Now, are they aggressive?
Yes.
The reason why I ask is a couple of people that Chris had interviewed had said that they actually were chased by this creature.
This creature is aggressive. We've got a couple of documented cases in Kentucky where it's actually attacked someone. So yes, they are aggressive. They are a totally different creature than the Bigfoot, totally different temperament. They are to be extreme caution is to be used around these critters. They're much more primitive and brutish than the Bigfoot is.
Wow. Yeah. Now I'm kind of leery. I don't know if I want to go back or not. I was all for it before. Now I'm kind of thinking maybe not. So, yeah. I mean, that is interesting because the description that everyone gave was more like the description everybody gives for the Bigfoot. So it is kind of cool that we kind of got a little bit more on it to what we actually got.
Yeah,
so,
a lot of people I think misidentify these. You'll hear people also refer to them as a dog-faced Bigfoot. Now, there's no such thing as a dog-faced Bigfoot, but that's also a term that people have used. So they're misidentified quite often.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that one, but like I said, I'm new into the cryptid side, but I don't think I've heard of that one.
It's a totally different animal.
Wow. So, how often do you get reports and claims of these?
It varies. Usually in October we get a lot of reports, but it seems like the Bigfoot is on the move in October. And as it passes through a different county, we'll get reports from residents of that county. So it really just varies, but October is always a big month. And actually we got some reports just this week of the same creature I was just now talking about. So it's really no set pattern. I got a report not too long ago of a huge lizard close by. So it just, like I said, there's no set pattern there. Just whenever.
A huge lizard.
Yes.
And have you had a...
twice.
I'm sorry?
It's been spotted twice in the same county in about the last year. Just appears to be like a huge, like a monitor lizard or something, but it's about 8 to 10 feet long.
Wow.
So that's one I haven't got to really check on that much. That's a new one to me. Now, we had one back in the 70s, not right in this part of Kentucky, but a town called Milton, Kentucky. Same type of creature was spotted briefly. But other than that, I don't know of any other sightings till these two just popped up recently. So this is a new one to me too.
Wow, yeah. They don't know if it's aggressive, no sizes.
Don't know any more about it than that. It just was spotted walking across the roads, some of the rural roads.
Wow. Well, share some of your theories on Bigfoot. Is it an undiscovered animal or a dimensional creature, humanoid? Give us some of your theories.
Okay, well, it's definitely flesh and blood, so that rules out any kind of dimensional or supernatural type creature. And also, I don't believe it's an ape. Now, a lot of people believe it's a living Gigantopithecus, but the reason I say it's not an ape is because its feet are different. Apes have a foot that's more like a hand. You know, their big toe is really more like a thumb, whereas the Bigfoot has a track just like a human. So if it is an ape, it's not an ape as we know it. But right now, I rule out that it's an ape at all. It's either a totally undiscovered species of animal, or it is a surviving hominid known as a Paranthropus that scientists used to think went extinct about 3 million years ago, but now a lot of scientists are starting to question if it is in fact extinct. So I really kind of lean toward it's a hominid, the Paranthropus.
Wow. Okay. That's a little... Can you go a little bit further on that?
Sure.
For our listeners that are like me, that are new to this.
Okay. About 3-4 million years ago, you had some early humans. One was called the Australopithecine, and the Australopithecine eventually evolved into what is a modern man now. But somewhere along the line, there's another branch came off from that line, known as the Paranthropus. Now, the Paranthropus was considerably larger than Australopithecine. At that time, the Australopithecine was about 3 feet tall. Paranthropus, even then, was 5 to 6 feet tall. Much huskier, more robust. And a lot of people say it's a missing link, but that's really a misnomer, because when you say link, you're really speaking of a piece of the same chain. This is a piece that's branched out from the chain. And the bodies that have been found have the same shaped head as the Bigfoot, the same type of foot, but it also has the elongated arms. It's almost like a combination between an ape and a human. And like I said, people think that they went extinct, but they're being questioned considerably now. Now, like I said, the Australopithecine was about 3 feet tall at that time. Now, you fast forward 3 million years, the average male is 6 foot or so now. So you figure it's grown 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
If the Paranthropus was 5 feet thin, if he grew at the same rate, fast forward 3 million years, he's now 8 feet. Falls right into the Bigfoot height range.
Right. Wow. Boy.
And it would be much more it would have the more of a human-like intelligence to it as well.
Right.
Bigfoot does not operate just on instinct like most animals do. That's why he's never been caught yet. He has intelligence as well as instinct, and that's a very formidable combination when you're trying to capture something.
So you think as he's growing, his intelligence is growing also, and that's why he's learned with growing, I guess, with his intelligence, that he can hide.
Yes, and I'm sure he's studied humans just like we try to study him. He knows probably much more about us than we know about him.
Right. Wow, that's pretty interesting. I never kind of really put it together like that, in the years and the growing and the height and the knowledge that he would have. His not really thinking like an animal, but more thinking like a human.
Right, because any other animal, even the more intelligent ones, their instinct will always overpower their intelligence. You can always eventually trick them by just using their own instinct against them. That has never been successful with Bigfoot. He has the logic to figure things out. He cannot be tricked just using his instinct against him like you can any other animal.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now you're going to make me research some more.